Okay, so we're just gonna look into this because it was sent to me by Chester Durnas, who is an MD, and I thought it would be quite interesting for us just to look at
Mm.
and to explore. So, Carrie Ann, I know you can't be on here, but I'm fairly sure you'll be able to give us some insight of what you think quickly into the chat. So, this is if we live forever. If there's a magic pill and we can live forever. So, anti-aging treatments. And there's gene therapy. You can read it all. You've got the list, and I'll obviously put these in the files for everybody else. If they come and watch this later on, they're still experimental. Oh, and this is interesting. I don't know if you've come across this thing, Gary. Will they cause cancer or organ damage decades later?
Yeah, well, there's a lot
Anti-aging
of things that
things.
yeah, there's a lot of things you just have no idea on that side of thing.
Mm.
And also the very nature of aging, the way that things change in the body anyway, you're probably going to get things like that. Things will break down and things will change and wear out regardless of what drugs you're doing, because the drugs won't work on every part of your cell structure.
No, exactly. That's accelerating aging from overuse. Could excessive interventions like stem cell therapies or growth hormones backfire and speed up aging? Do you think that could happen?
Absolutely no idea without more
Nobody
research.
knows. I mean, there's just no evidence for any of this. So these are all possibilities. Again, only for the wealthy. Will anti-aging
Yeah,
tech become a
probably true.
luxury? Probably,
Yeah,
because they're the only ones that could afford it. And people run out of money. Not
yeah.
normal people, you
Well,
know.
even going back to this idea, wasn't it, reversing death with eugenics, to store the body after death and things like that. I mean, that's what, a
Mm,
couple of 100,000, so it's beyond your average person.
yeah, exactly. Um, and again, I mean, if you live to 150 plus, will you still be you? Or will extreme longevity change personality and values? I just think it's just horrible. I'm sorry, I really do, because I couldn't think of anything worse.
Well,
Um,
depends how
and
fit
yet,
and healthy, depends how fit and healthy you were, and both cognitively and physically.
well, I know, well, your hearing goes, your eyesight goes. I mean, mine's already going half the time. I'm like this with stuff. Your teeth, everybody would be in dentures, and it's like your skin.
No,
It's
the
like,
thing I saw today in Japan, they're testing stuff that they reckon you might be able to regrow teeth if you lose them. So it's very early.
wow.
It's very
Oh, like
early.
sheep. Sheep
Yeah,
do.
yeah. It's very early research, but that's what part of the thing mentions.
There you go. You see, I love things like this. This it brings up really meaty conversations, doesn't
Mm.
it? However, and overpopulation and resource strain, absolutely. People stop dying naturally. Will Earth become overcrowded, leading to famine and conflict? Yeah. Imagine having all these, being the young children of all these older people.
Yeah.
It's like you say, I mean, are they going to be wearing nappies? Are they, as in diapers? It's like I just
There was an interesting. It was well, it was a complete fictional program that was on a few years ago, which may not have come out over there. But you'll remember the science fiction Doctor Who sort of kids
Mm,
show.
mm.
Well, they had a spin-off from that, an adult orientated thing called Torchwood, over here, and they did. It was a few years ago, but the premise of this particular thing was something happened in the world and people stopped dying. And that was the whole premise of it. People stopped dying. Now they could be very ill in hospital, with heart attacks, not being able to speak, eat, and whatever, but they still didn't die. And it was about all the ethical things, and well, I mean, the idea of the science fiction was what was causing it and how to reverse it. Um, but you've got so many population things going on that there was all sorts of stuff going on. And like one of the things that the governments were doing without telling anybody, trying to keep it secret, despite the fact that people weren't actually dying, once they got into almost like a vegetative state, if you like, or a state where they thought, well, they weren't going to get any better. Basically, the state were killing them. They were basically getting mobile large crematoriums, and they were just putting them in and burning them anyway, despite the fact still being alive.
Oh my
Uh,
God. And it's just like, it just, Carrie Ann, what are your thoughts on it? I mean, it's, it's just, I don't know. I think it's just really strange. And then would governments impose mandatory life extension or restrict it to certain groups? I mean, again, it's like, how would you control it?
yeah.
Will people be forced to take expensive drugs indefinitely to stay alive? I mean, I do hear people who say, "Oh no, I want to live, live for as long as I can, live forever."
Yeah, I must admit, if I could afford it and cognitively okay and physically okay, yeah, I quite like consciousness. I'd rather not let it go.
Um, Unnatural evolution. If humans stop aging, now that's a different thing. The aging thing.
Mm,
Will we lose the natural cycle of birth and death? Because, okay, so say if you could just stop your age where you're at right now,
mm,
or I mean, do you remember there was that, was it Logan's Run or something? I can't remember. There
yeah,
was, it was, and they all have to be dead at 30 or something, you know,
yeah,
or cast out. And it's like, so it's so if we could just get to 30 and everybody stay that, ooh, no, that would
yeah,
be weird.
yeah. I'm too far beyond that now. I'm knackered
I
already.
know we're beyond that one, but that would be an interesting one.
Yeah,
What does Carrie Ann put? Um, I think it's
that's it.
Carrie Ann, you need to finish your sentence off. So, um, if so, yeah, the psychological impact could living for centuries. Can you imagine that? Lead to, yeah, boredom, existential boredom, depression, loss of purpose. I don't know.
Hmm.
I suppose again, you see how much. I mean, just imagine that in your lifetime, you could be a carpenter, a a bricklayer, a lawyer, a doctor, a this, a that. You could try
Hmm.
them all,
Yeah,
you know? I don't know. It depends on what body you're in
yeah,
and your cognitive function.
yeah.
Um,
And what's
if
left for you to do with the AI and robotics haven't taken over?
Well, I saw something today that there was this robot who could have a baby.
Right.
I
Yeah.
mean, that is worrying
Yeah, yeah, no, obviously AI is going in all sorts of directions that will take all
that they
sorts
can implant,
of.
they can have a robot and put in a womb and do all the things, and the
Mm,
robot has the baby.
right.
That's like that. I mean, that's also weird because now we don't need women then,
Well, yeah.
and then we don't need humans because if there's so much stored up sperm, we don't need men.
Yeah.
That's weird. I mean,
Mm.
that's just like human values just gone.
Yeah, yeah, and then you get AI itself taking over everything anyway.
Oh, I see. We're jumping around from other subjects.
Yeah.
Sorry, on another subject that we would always have choices and would evolve with invention. Yeah, you're right. I think you're right. We could at least always have the choice whether we want to or not. But I just think it's scary if this is if this is a choice. It's like, oh my gosh. And it probably is a choice. They're working on it.
Mm.
Um, so increased risk of oh what hang on, what was that? If the elderly never retire or die, will younger generations be blocked from opportunities? Possibly, if
Yeah,
nobody's ever
yeah,
dead.
because yeah, I mean, because if the elderly are experienced and their body's still good, carpenters, for example, where you mentioned, somebody might be a carpenter, so they've had much more years of experience than a younger one, so they'll probably be better at it as long as their body and mind are fine. So,
Yeah.
Well, in some
Inc-
ways, they're being, and again, I'm not sure it's that necessarily, but yeah, I mean, the younger are being blocked from opportunities. Again, with AI, economy, and whatever, there are less opportunities for them as it stands at the moment, it seems to be.
Yeah, because people used to retire at 60. Now it's like 70,
Well, yeah, only because
75
yeah,
even.
only because we can't afford to. That's the problem.
Yeah.
That,
Um,
that's the real
so
big
some
thing is,
anti-aging, increased risk of cancer, anti-aging therapies like, you might have heard of these then, Gary, rapamycin or telomerase
activation. Yeah,
activation. What's that?
there's I don't know what the rapamycin is. The telomerase. That's something to do. It's your DNA or rDNA and whatever, and they've got like little sort of long things, and the end of it, I think, the end bits are something telo something or others, and that has an effect on those. That's all I can really think of on that front.
So in which case then they'd die anyway, or just be ill and then have be in pain,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
then, unregulated biohacking dangers, DIY anti-aging experiments, gene editing at home could lead to disasters. Well, for sure.
Mm,
I don't exactly know what that all means, but um, it's just food for thought. I just
mm.
I just I've chosen my age, um, when I'm going to leave. Um, uh, religious and philosophical conflicts. Could immortality defy religious beliefs from mortality and the afterlife? Yeah, I mean, where are all the souls? If if say there's people who are like really into quantum stuff and soul stuff.
Yeah.
Carrie Ann, maybe you can help us out on this one. Are there enough souls in the world? So will people need to be bought? Will people need want as many babies? Will this happen? Will that if this was to all happen? Are there enough souls in the world? I think the new souls, because they're are being created all the time. Do you believe in souls?
Me personally, no.
You don't. Hmm?
No.
You think that
I'm
when we
I'm
die, we
very
die?
Yeah, I'm very scientific background. I think, yeah,
Hmm.
we were created in whatever way you're created. We're here. Once you're gone, you're gone. To me,
Hmm.
I use the scientific analogy, if you like, that, if you like, now we're very high functioning computers, if you like, the mind. And okay, we've got the bodies and whatever. So if you like, we're very, very clever, moving, thinking machines. And when we die, it's like, you unplugging the computer and taking the battery out. That's it. No more, nothing there.
Right.
I'd like
So
to be proved wrong, but
yeah, I mean, it's and it's fascinating hearing from a colleague, like that, especially as I say with the hypnosis thing. So it's like past life regressions, all of that,
yeah,
souls.
I mean, I do it for people, but my personal opinion, having done a lot of past life regressions, I mean, I've had a couple that I can't explain, which are interesting, but my general idea with past life regression, and I wouldn't tell somebody that comes to me for it, is that I think they're metaphorical stories. Uh,
Yeah, I wonder.
because it's interesting that nearly everybody that comes to me for a past life regression, I say, is there any particular reason why you're coming for it? 99 times out of 100, they say, "Oh yeah, I've got a bit of a problem in this life with X, Y, Z, and I've got a funny feeling it might have been caused by something in a past life." And lo and behold, we go back to the past life, and it was, and we sorted it out. So it's almost
Yeah,
to me as though they've got a problem in this life, and their unconscious has given them a way to resolve it through the metaphor of a past life, and I'm just the facilitator to make that happen.
yeah. I can agree with that, although I have had some really strange things happen.
Yeah, I've
So
had some strange ones as
so
well.
it's like, and then I think, maybe not.
I
Uh,
mean, I've got a couple of doctor friends that are both doctors that are very into it and I totally believe it and have done bits of research into it. So, who knows?
Um, so anyway, Carrie Ann, did you come up with anything there? If people have unlimited time, will they procrastinate forever, reducing innovation?
No,
Possibly.
because innovation will be taken over by AI. We won't need to.
Are we going to be here? I mean, it's just so strange. Could a 200-year-old brain handle that much memory, or would it lead to cognitive collapse?
Well, who knows? But then there are drugs that supposedly improve your memory and thinking and other stuff anyway.
So it's interesting because, you know, as the brain, because at about 50, our brain synapses start to, you know, break down anyway.
Mm.
And that's why it is important that we're continually learning, we're continually making more brain synapses, because so that we don't get a neurocognitive disorder. Would dictatorships use anti-aging tech to keep rulers in power indefinitely?
That's a
Probably.
possibility. Yeah, yeah.
Oh, that's not a nice thought. How would marriages last 100 plus years?
I don't think they would.
Would families become impossibly large?
Yeah, maybe.
Imagine family gatherings of
Oh
great,
yeah, yeah, yeah. You'd
great,
have
great, great,
great,
great,
great,
great,
great.
great, great,
Yeah, yeah,
and everybody's the same age.
yeah.
What if that's the say if that's it? I don't know. I mean, it's just like, what are the possibilities here? It's quite interesting. Pensions, retirement plans, healthcare systems would collapse if people live much longer, but not necessarily if they're able to work.
Yeah, so if they're able to work and if they don't get ill and they're not this, that, and the other, yeah, and presumably if people are going to live to that age, they'd want to carry on working. Okay, they might want to change jobs, they get bored with things, do different ones, but presumably they would carry on working.
Yeah. I mean, if
Um,
we looked at this in a positive light instead of being
yeah,
horrified by it,
yeah.
we could suddenly throw in lots of positives, couldn't
Yeah,
we?
but then thing might change the other way around. I mean, I remember, and it just shows how it's gone because obviously now we have to work longer for our pensions because the systems can't handle paying us all pensions because you've got an aging population and less sort of youngsters being born. You've got that thing because I remember when I was at college, sort of many years ago when I was studying sort of the initial IT thing, we had business studies as part of our college stuff. And and I was looking back on it, and I'm thinking, what a complete and utter load of old rubbish it was, and what a waste of time it was. Because we had this guy for business, and he was saying that, oh, we were the luckiest generation going. He said you were the luckiest generation going because he said, we didn't have AI then, but had computing had started, robotics had started, manufacturing and stuff like that. He said, oh no, you're the luckiest generation going because he said with all this robotics and computing, he said that's going to make all your lives easier. He said, so what will happen? He said, the companies will make lots and lots of money. So he said, you'll get really, really good wages. You'll be working far less hours. You'll be retiring early. You'll have lots of social time and leisure time, and retiring early, and it'll be fantastic. And I thought, yeah, right, that's all come to pass, hasn't
Yeah, interesting, isn't
it?
it? How they perceived it.
Yeah.
So yeah, and now of course we've got the physical and mental decline anyway. So even if aging is slowed, will people still suffer from frailty, dementia, or chronic pain? And
Yeah.
yeah, probably. So it just means that if you stopped people dying, I mean, it's like then they might live with dementia for longer. It's just like,
Mm.
or well, will it kill them? I don't know. I mean, I
Yeah.
don't know how
But
that.
of course, the slightly other side of that you've got that they have to live. Is it going to be possible to upload the cognitive function or the contents of your brain to a machine or a computer, so you become basically you don't have a body and things, you just become a mind.
Oh, oh, now that's creepy, isn't it? So the deathist argument. Some believe aging is natural and necessary. Would eliminating it make life meaningless? What do we think to that? I just thought it was really
Yeah, if people live
fascinating.
forever, yes, but if they still had a limited but longer time, then no.
Gosh.
Which is the idea, is if you could get downloaded to a computer or an AI or something, then yes, it could, because you technically could live forever, or until you got unplugged or there was a power cut or something.
Yeah. Carrie Ann, you're on mute. Do you want, I don't, maybe we can hear you if you just, I know we might not be able to see you, but I wonder what any of your thoughts are on any of this. It's, but anyway, I just thought I'd throw it out there
Mm.
because Chester sent it to me as a thing for us to discuss, and I thought it was quite interesting, seeing as
Mm.
if we are Nightingale dementia consultant, or I am, but Lighthouse brain health associates. Just the his sheer thought of how many, I don't know, more age home, older homes would there be? What stage do we stop this aging thing? I don't know. Anyway, it's quite interesting. So has anybody seen any people yet living with dementia, seen any caregivers, come across anybody who has who is who is going through this uh dementia?
No,
Not yet.
no.
So, would you do talks on it at care homes?
Um, Potentially, I think the care homes are not necessarily going to be interested, particularly because most of the care homes over here, they're fully short staffed, and most of their staff are from sort of the Philippines and various other places with not the best command of English anyway.
Okay,
Looking
okay,
at my
fair enough.
father's one, or couple that he was in as an example, I don't think that they would be interested in, even if you coming and doing talks, to be totally honest,
Okay,
because again, that means that you're teaching them to change their approach, do things, and whatever, which is going to take them time, which they haven't got.
mm. Carry on again. I don't know if you can hear us properly. I think you can hear
So
us.
again, the only thing you want to do that is talks with the caregivers, or rather the relations, rather than the care home people,
Yeah.
because I don't think they'd be interested.
It's so it's but what I'll do is, when I get that my talk from back from NGH, because I will get
Yeah,
it, I'll share the video on here, so
yeah,
that at any point you can take notes from that and do a presentation yourself.
yeah,
um uh oh, good. So Carrie Ann spoken at, yeah, like a networking meeting. Oh, it's hard to keep, yeah, okay, no worries, Carrie Ann. um and then you can see, oh, it can use that idea, and Carrie Ann,
yeah,
I know you've got your own story about your mum. So I do think that is always useful to add that sort of thing in. And the reason why it's so, for me, the reason why working with people living with dementia, and when they first get their diagnoses, is it's really important to clear them of any traumas.
yeah.
Um,
What's going on? Actually, just interacting, sort of, you mentioned the care homes thing. Of course, the other big problem you've got is, okay, it's all very well going into the care home to give a talk, but then what happens next? If they have got staff that might be interested, or whatever, in being trained and giving advice and whatever, where's the money going to come to pay for it?
and
Most of the care homes are losing money
yeah, then
end
you
of the
just
day.
give them. So what happens is you just give them the QR code
Yeah,
that I've done,
yeah,
and then they just pay the $7, which is like £5,
yeah,
um, for the other things that Beryl and I did
yeah.
to help people,
Oh
so that
yeah,
they
yeah.
just got a
No,
bit of training for hardly anything.
yeah. Well,
Then
and that's all very well, but then I'm looking at it from the other side of the point of view of me running a business. Obviously, if I'm spending all this time going in to give talks for people that are only going to spend $7 or something, then obviously it's not a very good use of my time. Okay, it's a good use of my time to help people.
no, if you've got one, because there'll always be one or two that will have enough money and they'll want to work with you privately.
In care homes, I'd be incredibly surprised. I don't think that's the case, because
Okay, then you'll
most of the care home staff haven't got any time, and they're generally Filipinos and whatever,
so
anything.
you'll be
So
wanting to go to the more upmarket
yeah,
care homes, and
yeah,
that's where you start getting your, so what I'm saying is that freebie is just for the people who are
yeah,
working there. You don't want to work with them, you want to
yeah,
work with the person living, who or other families.
yeah,
It's like they know you do this, they've heard, oh, my husband's just got a diagnosis, can you work with us? So
Yeah.
it's just people will know you as the person to work with, and then it's about getting them back to their personhood and brain
Yeah.
health coaching
Yeah.
techniques.
Yeah.
um,
Again, I think the problem we've got in the UK is because everyone's so used to the NHS being involved. Again, trying to get people to pay to do something like that privately is going to be so difficult.
no,
And obviously,
you have to go for the
yeah,
market
yeah,
ones,
and
Gary.
even from
The
doing
people who always pay.
yeah, and even doing one-to-ones, with people, the fact that really you've got to go around their house, which then takes travel time and other time. So,
Yeah,
so it's
again,
basically using the time of three clients rather than one. And so you're then charging, say, the price of three clients, which people, I can't see people paying, to be honest.
if you get the if well, sadly, dementia can be one of those things that people will pay a lot for if they've got it.
Yeah,
And if you've because where you are, you will have those big homes, and they would rather some and they will and they will pay for it.
yeah,
But and because I know where you are, they can do that. Or again, you could do it online, but they'll need
yeah,
somebody to obviously work the Zoom for them, for the
yeah,
family.
yeah,
um and I know that Dr. Daniel Nightingale, he works a lot on Zoom telehealth,
yeah,
with his people living with, because I helped him on one of the things once.
yeah,
um because people that just got their diagnoses, so they can,
yeah,
it's not like they can't do stuff. It's just that every so often, so you can. But you're right, in England it's going to be hard, and there are
yeah,
plenty of there's some Nightingale dementia consultants, and again they've just gone up, and it's difficult to get to get clients in England because of the NHS.
yeah, yeah. I mean, it's difficult enough to get hypnotherapy clients, let alone
Yeah.
something back like something like that, which by the very nature is going to cost a lot more money to deliver.
But so you have to go, it's like I'm afraid it's the high paying
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
clients, it's the real rich ones. you
yeah,
know it's like if I don't know, because they are there, the politicians, the this, the
yeah,
that, who don't want
yeah,
people to know, what can you do to help me, what can you do to
yeah,
keep me in this place. And yes, it's very niche, or niche. And will you be very busy with it all the time? Who knows? Once people know,
mm,
because somebody every 3 seconds is being diagnosed with dementia in the
mm,
world, and people are in denial over it. But if they don't know about you, that you do it, then they won't even know to ask.
yeah,
And
yeah,
the only way to get that out is actually to go to some of the high class, and say, I do this. I see people living with dementia, because when sometimes the high class ones, they'll get relatives looking around and getting a place in ready, because there's such a long waiting list.
mm,
So it's like, and you can be a support, and because of your background with the oncology, um
mm,
you could, so it's like, yeah, you got to do your research, find out some top class ones, because there will be some in England, and there will
yeah,
be some in Arizona, that, because there always are, because I know Dr. Daniel Nightingale's in Arizona. In fact, I need to get
yeah,
him on here and do
yeah.
a thing about that, and how to get into the market. Would that be helpful if I
Yeah, I
did
guess it
that?
would be. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah. Because it's and how to go about that, because yeah, it can be a little bit daunting.
hmm,
It's like, well, what do I do with this now? But you and again, just because with your expertise, and carry on with yours and the area, you'll be surprised that and it is about talking, and people, if you're going to networking, carry on, and just doing a talk, people, they clock it. So, and sadly, somebody is being diagnosed every 3 seconds. Doctors, yes, yeah, that's the neurologists then. But you can let doctors know that you help people. Again, they might be more lenient in Arizona with things like that in Arizona. But you can certainly, the neurologists, when I've been working with people, I go, tell your neurologist I'm working with you, and I write a letter to the doctor as well, I'm working with your patient. They're always happy. Or in fact, sometimes I don't. The client just says, oh, I'm working with Claudia, and they're delighted that they've got support. Absolutely delighted. So it's because they don't have the time, and I spend more time. I spend sort of like a much longer time with them. And sometimes I only see them. I'm going next week, actually. I'm going to see some people. I haven't seen them for about a year and a half, but the son wants me to do another check on them with the slums test. And this is his mum and his sister. Oh goodness, his mum must be coming up for 90 now. However, she thinks it's still the year, or when the last time I went, she thought it was still 1986. So I'll see what she says this time round. And therefore, that means she is that age. And therefore, she can still play tennis and golf and walk and do all these things because it's only 1986. Because she was an athlete. She was an athlete and very, very fit. So therefore she still can. And I think she still does.
Right.
So, I mean, it's like, that's quite interesting. He's got huge property. And I said, because he showed me around. I said, get a tennis net up, get a basket, a basketball, lower it down, but they can, because they're only tiny little people, so they can shoot hoops. Get a couple of golf holes, because he can do that. And let them play. His sister, she must be about 60 now, but she unfortunately, when she was at college, she got shot in the head with a gun, obviously, and she got brain damaged, and she has a neurocognitive disorder from that. So I work with her as well. So it's but yeah, she's lovely, and they forget who I am, but they cuddle me because they forget my name, but they don't forget the feeling they have when they're with me. So when I see them, I bet you anything they'll be arms open wide.
Yeah.
Because they'll just remember me, and it's the feeling that I give to them, and that's what's important. So it's there's all sorts of different stuff that we can do, and then I'll go around his house again and give him some ideas, or he just wants affirmation probably of what he's doing, all the right things. And it's hard, you've got to look after his, but it's that's the way he's doing it. And and good for him. But it's but as long as they're toileting fine, then he can. And that's the main thing. So it's like very lot, but if it, I don't think that will ever happen. I think they'll be fine getting washed all the time, but they just might sort of get washed a few times a day, or they might or they might need to be reminded to get. I don't know. I'll find out. I'll let you know when I see them and what's happened, because it's always interesting these case studies of what's going on. But we had anyway, I've still got these other sheets that we were doing from last time as well, about and so much of it again goes back to our behaviors, and again that's what I'll be reminding him. I expect we are not our behaviors, so I'll be reminding expect if his, because I think his sister can get angry, is that we are not our behaviors, we are our good intentions. So it's always about getting curious. Always getting curious about people's behaviors, and then inviting our clients to take notes and things like that. Because if we're looking helping the care partner, they've got so much going on, they will actually, they need them, and they can do voice memos now. Get them to just make a mental a voice note of what's going on, or even record, and they could send it to you if there is some nastiness going on, and so that you can really hear it and know what it is like for them. I mean, it might be a little bit underhand, but how are you going to know? Because we might think we know, but how can you really know if you're not hearing the tone of voice of somebody being actually that nasty to somebody? So it's quite, there are ways for us to really empathize with the care partners. I think that would be a good idea. If that is the situation that people are getting so angry. But again, we get curious, and it's often fear. I don't know what you think about that anger is all based in fear.
It can be. Well, not always. 100%.
I think it is. I think if you go below the blow and you really dig deep, I think it could be fear of not being worthy, fear of forgetting how to eat, fear of forgetting or being unlovable, fear of sort of dying and nobody will be there, nobody will care, or being put in a home and left. There could be lots of different reasons why somebody would be getting angry. I invited a friend of mine recently. She said her husband was, so he must be 70 something. And her mother, I think I said this last time, her mother took 12 days to die from Alzheimer's. It was a long, long, drawn out death, 13 days, I think it was. And eventually she died. They took her off the morphine in the end because they realized that was the little bit of sustenance that was keeping her alive. And her husband has got really angry, and I've sort of like invited her to get curious. I said, below all anger is fear. And she said, so she, and she was like going, well, okay. And then she came back to it again in our conversation. She goes, do you know what? He's been doing this and this has been happening. And I'm like, yeah. And I said, and your mum was the last one of the older people to die. And it's like, who's next? And it's like, so he could be fear of dying. But also she said, I think he's starting to forget stuff. So do you see what I mean? It's fear. And it's not nice. It's just not nice. So it's so she said, thank you. I'll just be a little bit, because I know her as well. I know she can sometimes not be very nice back. So I do know, I've heard her snap. So I kind of thought, I wonder what because I know you don't like his tone of voice. What about yours? So it's just inviting people to get curious all the time. Any questions on any of that? Carrie Ann. My voice got broken at these conferences. I know. I need to. There you go. I'll have some anti-aging stuff for voice. I need a new voice box. It's not very good though when you're a hypnotist.
No, not to have a voice.
I've had to send some people because I'm like, well, actually, I didn't croak up yesterday when I saw a client, but the other two, I was coughing. I had to send them a different recording that I'd already done. Even though my cough won't disturb you any noises, but it's like, it's really embarrassing. What do you do when you've got a cough and you've got clients?
I'll try and get through it. I mean, I've got the odd sort of pastels I have from sort of vocal zones, I think they're called, but and just try and get through it. I mean, I had a bit of a dry throat after Vegas. I mean, that because Vegas, I flew home overnight, so I didn't land until 6 o'clock. Well, I didn't get home until 6 o'clock Thursday evening, and I had 5 clients Friday morning. So,
Oh my
of
God,
course,
that's a lot.
so I come straight out of Vegas. Of course, I was on a 10-hour dry flight. Obviously with the dry air on the flight.
That's awful. I wouldn't
Yeah.
like. What do you book 5 clients in for?
Because I've been away for a week, I needed to.
Had to do them. Gary, and what do you do if you've got a cough and you're trying to do hypnosis? It's awful. It's something called Singer's Saving Grace. Oh, I shall look that one up because that's obviously American.
Yeah, sounds it.
It's always worth asking.
Yeah.
You know, somebody will always know something. But yeah, it's I would do that with for the marketing bit now. Find out your expensive care homes, Gary.
Mm,
All right.
yeah.
You will notice because and there could be I mean, Barbara Windsor had to go somewhere.
Yeah. Yeah.
Those ones, all
Yeah.
right. And those are the people that can afford you.
Yeah.
All
Okay.
right. And you want to work with them but as soon as they get their diagnoses. And
Yeah.
because you're in the hospital, you will have connections with your neurologists.
I don't know. We got where we are, so it's a completely different part
Find
of it.
them. Just say
Yeah.
I'm Gary Coles. I'm the oncology guy, and I also can see people who get their first
Yeah.
it's been scientific. Dr. Daniel, and here's the proof.
Yeah.
It's I mean, I'm sure you've all got the book.
Yeah.
Where is it gone? Oh, what have I? Oh gosh, I
Yeah.
fell off
I
the
have got
chair.
the book.
Yeah, I've got the book. So and he's got the and there's papers.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because that's how he got his doctorate.
Yeah.
So there is proof. And so he scientifically proved that hypnosis, and you can do that, and so can you, carry on in Arizona. I can't. I actually can't. Says me. So it's like I'm trying to help everybody else do it instead. But it's but hey, can I do guided imagery or mindfulness? Yes. It's just not hypnotherapy. It's just like, okay. So yeah, so that is what you can do. And same for you, Carrie Ann. Go and find. I'm making everybody else cough now. I bet you're really pleased you're not in my room. You can do this. Find out some good care homes.
Yeah.
And if people, if there's a waiting list because they've just got their diagnoses, then they might be on a waiting list for a very good home. So that means that they're not that bad at the moment.
Yeah.
Can you help somebody if they're in can't get washed?
If somebody's on a waiting list, there's no way they'll give you that information.
No, you give them your information,
Yeah.
and they can pass it on.
Yeah.
You leave, you just sound confident and the expert.
Yeah.
Do you have clients who might be interested in this? This is another option, because sometimes they will go, do you have any information to help us? Is there anything else? Is there anything else? Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Gary Coles. You can call him. But no, obviously they can't give you the information.
Yeah.
But they can share it.
Yeah.
And it's just about being there. If you're a secret, they're not going to know you.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. Right.
You could do a radio show.
Yeah. 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 But on that note, I'm going to have to go and disappear into.
You're going to have to go. All right. I've got Carrie Ann.
I might not see you next week because, of course, it's bank holiday here.
Okay.
So.
Depends
whether I'm out doing stuff.
All right. Okay. well, hopefully Carrie Ann will be, and the following one I'm going to do a video anyway. But if not, I'll try and get do some things with Dr. Daniel Nightingale.
Yeah.
So I'm going to stop recording there. And Carrie Ann.
I will see.
Yeah. Okay. Bye, Gary. Bye, Gary. I know, because you can't. It's very frustrating. I bet you sort it out afterwards. Never mind. Okay. And were you able to catch up with some of the others? Because I did one with Beryl Coma the other week when I was away. All right. Anyway, I'm going to stop the recording.